Hello and welcome to my Headspace Maths. We're going to do some GCSE maths today with me, Guy. That's me. So I've got a challenge today that I've been thinking about for a little while now. So I thought we'll give it a go. So I've got this GCSE non-calculator paper from 2024. It's a higher tier. We're going to work through and see what grade I'm going to get without actually getting anything right. Yes, you heard. So I'm going to work through. I'm not allowed to get full marks on any question or part question in this paper. I've got to do as well as I can and then see what grade I come out with. So once we've finished working through, we'll check the mark scheme, go through and see how many marks I managed to get, and then we'll check the grade boundaries of this paper and see what it was possible to come out with. So let me know in the comments, what do you think it's possible to get on a GCSE higher paper without actually getting anything right? Now, of course, you guys might want to see the correct answers. So if you click the link in the description, we'll send you out PDF with a fully correct set of solutions so you know what you should be doing when you actually get to your exam. All right, there's no messing around now. Let's get started. So we're going to work our way down and see what question one is. So question one, we've got the first four terms of an arithmetic sequence, 1, 5, 9, 13. We want an expression in terms of n for the nth term of this sequence. So a pretty easy starting question. It's 2 marks, so I'm only allowed to get 1 mark. I can't get 2 because then it would count towards my total, right? I'm not going to include any marks if I get full marks for a question. So what would I normally do? I'd go here and say, right, I'd put a +4, I'd put a +4, +4. I can see it's going up by the same thing each time for an arithmetic sequence. So I know I would then write 4n, but now I can't get it correct. So that might be enough for 1 mark, but I kind of want to make sure maybe that they expect me to add something on. So normally I would look at what came before this 1 here. So take away the 4, but I can't get it right. So let's say I'm just going to put this +1 on. That's a pretty common mistake. So we get the 4n, but then we write +1. I think that should be okay to get me just that 1 mark. Okay, so there we go. I think we're off to a good start. We've got 1 mark so far, we hope. So question 2, I'm going to work out this mixed number subtraction. So again, it's 2 marks. So my aim is to get 1. I can't get 2 marks. That's not okay. So if we think, what would I need to do? I would convert it into improper fractions. So I'm going to do 3 times 5 gets me 15. Add on the 4 gets me 19 over 5. So that's my first fraction. And then 1 times 3 add 2 gets me 5 over 3. I'm not convinced that would be enough for the 1 mark yet, so I think I'll probably need to go a bit further. I think they'd want to see a common denominator. So common denominator for this one would be 15. Right, you guys know that. So this first one I need to times numerator and denominator by 3. So 19 times 3, that gets me 57. And then second one I need to times by 5, so I get 25. I think now that's probably going to have got me the 1 mark at this point. So now I need to make a mistake when I do my subtraction. So let's say I'm going to do 57 minus 25 and get that wrong. Let's say I end up with 31. Okay, because I can't write 32 because it didn't say anything about giving it as a mixed number. That would have been an easy one, right? I could have worked out the answer and then just left it as an improper fraction. But if I got it correct as an improper fraction, I think I'd get 2. So I think that should be good for 1 mark. There's enough there, hopefully, to kind of get my method. So I'll put my 31 over 15 and hope that that will be enough. So there's my part A. So that was that one. Right, so what's part B? So here's the problem. Part B is only 1 mark, so I cannot do part B because I can't get that mark because that would be full marks on a question part. So no deal. Remember, click the link in the description for a PDF with all the correct answers in. You can see what we should be putting there to point out what mistake Kevin has made. Right, let's see. Question 3. Oh, this looks like it might be a good one. Right, I think I can pick up some marks here. So it's 4 marks. 4 marks for this. So I'll give myself a little bit more room. So if we have a look then, we are trying to do the plan of a floor here. Petra's going to cover the floor with paint. She's got 3 tins of paint, 2.5 litres in each tin. Thinks 1 litre of paint will cover 10 metres squared of floor. Assuming Petra is correct, does she have enough paint to cover the floor? Show all your working. So we're going to show our working. That's what we're going to get our marks for. So I want to work out the area of this compound shape. So I need to cut it somewhere. I'm going to go across here. So that means I can do this top rectangle. That's going to be 5 times 10, 10 times 5. Gets me 50. And then this bottom rectangle here, I've got 6. And then 8 take away 5 gets me a 3 meters for that bit. So 6 times 3 is 18. So my total area is 50 plus 18. So I get 68 meters squared. Okay, fine. I think that's okay. That was going to get me some marks for that. So then Petra has 3 tins of paint and there's 2.5 liters of paint in each tin. So I suppose we should do number of liters. So number of liters equals 3 times 2.5. So I get 7.5 liters. And then Petra thinks 1 liter of paint will cover 10 meters squared of floor. So 7.5 liters will turn into, times by 10 gets me 75 meters squared. Okay, so I think these sorts of ones is quite easy, isn't it, to lose or not get it correct, because all I can do here is say, does she have enough paint to cover the floor? I'm just going to write no. So maybe I've mixed up my numbers, okay, so I haven't quite worked it out correctly. So obviously it is yes, we know that, we can see. But if we write no, she does not have enough, then that will hopefully be enough. Does not have enough. That should be enough of an error to lose that 1 mark at the end. So I reckon I'm feeling pretty confident with that one. I think we can get 3 out of 4 for that answer. I think that was good. Yeah, that should be okay. Right, so what's the part B? This has happened again. Another 1 mark part. Can't do this. Remember, put your email in the link in the description. You can see all these correct answers, but I can't do that because I cannot get that 1 mark. That would be a correct answer. We're not having any of those today. Oh, no, same here. So this is what's going to cost me, isn't it? It's these 1 mark questions that I can't get. So I can't do this one. So I have to put that to one side. So then we've got a number is chosen at random from the universal set. Find the probability that this number is in the set P union Q. So I can get a mark here. Right, so I've got to get 1 mark. So P union Q. Now, what error would get me 1 mark and definitely not 2? I don't want to get 0 either because I want to get as many as I can. So if I count up, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 numbers in the universal set. So that means my probability is out of 9. Now the question is, can I just write any number on the top, or is it going to have to be like a specific number to get me that 1 mark? So PUQ's got 5 in it, but I don't want obviously to get my right answer. So if I say, let's assume I think that P union Q means P or Q, but not both, whereas normally it would. So I'm going to include those ones. So my 4, so 4/9. And I think because of the 9 in my denominator, I think that'll get me the 1 mark. Okay, I think that's okay. I'm not sure what else I could get 1 mark for. I suppose it's maybe if you wrote 5 over and then got the denominator wrong, but then I don't know what mistake you'd make for that. I'm going to go with 4/9. We'll go with 4/9. We'll see later. I think that'll get me the 1 mark. Okay, question 5. Ooh, I can get a couple here. So 3 marks. So Sophie drives a distance of 513 kilometers on a motorway in France, pays 0.81 euros for every 10 kilometers she drives. Oh, it's an estimate one. Remember, this is non-calculator, so we're not doing anything exact. So let's see. We normally would get marks for doing the rounding. So remember, we do 1 significant figure. So we call that one 500. 0.81 we can call about 0.8. And then 10 obviously is just 10. That's fine as it is. So 500 on a motorway in France, not for every 10 kilometers. So I need to work out how many kind of 10 kilometers there are. So 500 divided by 10 gets me 50. So there's 50 lots of 10 kilometers. 50 lots of 10 kilometers. And she's going to pay 0.81, but we're doing our 0.8 here. So it would be 50 times 0.8 would be the sum. But I need to make an error. So I think I probably have to write that sum to get a mark. I don't think I could not have that. It's got to be some, because I'm trying to get 2. So I think 1 mark for my rounding up here, then 1 mark for this sum. Now I just need to get it wrong. So what sort of error could we put here for 50 times 0.8? I don't know. Obviously it would be 40. Let's assume it kind of went horribly wrong and I wrote 48 for some reason. So we'll go 48 euros. I think that should be enough for 2. I'm definitely not going to get my 3rd mark. Okay. Part B. Oh, 1 mark answer. Can't do that one. So we'll write that one off. Okay, let's see. Question 6. Oh, a straight line, right? Okay, great. Find an equation. 3 marks. There we go. Right, this is a good one. So 3 marks for this. So final equation, I think gradient, that should be fine. So I can do my gradient and say da 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 da. So use my diagram to help. So it's gone what, 3 up, 2 across. So we get 3 over 2. So my gradient is 3 over 2. I think there's definitely 1 mark for that. I don't think it would be 2 though. I think I've got to make some attempt at putting in the equation. Now, obviously my y-intercept is 3. So that would be my correct answer, but what could I get as an error that's going to get me 2 marks? So I think if I went for this instead, I think that would be a potential error that wouldn't be too bad. So if I wrote down my equation and said 3 over 2x, but I put minus 2, do you think that's going to be okay? So maybe 1 mark for my gradient, and then 1 mark for having like the correct form, so putting the gradient with the x, and then the minus 2 is my error. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I think that's got to be 2, surely. I don't know how else you'd get 2 if it's not that. So I think that makes sense. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. Oh, part B, 1 mark. No can do. Can't do that one. These 1 marks. That's what's going to get me. That's what's going to get me. So that's where it's all going to disappear. Oh, 5. Right. Okay. Here we go. I can pick up some good marks here. So I can get up to 4. Right. So Kasim has some small jars, some medium jars, and some large jars, and he's got a total of 400. 3/8 of the 400 jars are empty, and then for the empty jars, we've got some ratios that we can then use, and then eventually we're going to turn it into a percentage. Wow, lots to do. So we want 3/8 of 400. It's pretty clear, I think, to get our empty jars. So 400 divided by 8 is 50 times by 3. You get 150 empty jars. Fine, that's definitely going to be a mark, isn't it? Then for the empty jars, we have small jars to medium jars, 3 to 4. So 3 to 4, small to medium. And then medium to large is 1 to 2. So 1 to 2. I'll stack my ratios. And then I want to make it a common number. So if I times this second ratio by 4, both parts, to make it 4 to 8, I can then write my overall ratio as 3 to 4 to 8. There we go. Okay, so that's good so far. So that's for my empty jars, and I've got 150 empty jars, so I can now do how many jars of each size I have that are empty. So I can do 150. So if I add those up, I get 15. Ah, right, okay, this is nice with that calculator. So 150 divided by 15 gets me 10, obviously. So that's my 1 share that I would normally find in a ratio problem. So I've got my 1 share. So that means there are 30 small, what we got, 40 medium, and squeeze this in down here, 80 large. Right, so there we go. Fine. Work out the percentage of Kasim's jars that are empty small jars. So we know that's the 30. So the 30 is the empty small jars. Okay, empty small jars. So we just need to turn that into a percentage of all of them. So as a percentage of the 400. I think it's got to be as of the 400 because I could do it as the 150. But then because you could have done that from the ratio, I don't think that'd get you the mark. I think it's got to be 30 as a percentage of 400. That's what I think I need to do. So have I got 4 marks so far, or do I need to include something else? I think there's got to be an attempt, surely, right? There's going to be like a method mark, I reckon, for trying to find this 30 as a percentage of 400. So I would do 30 over 400 and then times it by 100, and that would turn it into a percentage. So maybe I can just make a numerical error when I do that. So I could like simplify the 100 there. So I've got 30 over 4. Although is that, would they give me that? They might give me the full marks for that. And this is, I can't lose these 5 marks. Well, it's a bit risky because this is getting a bit correct. This might be a right answer. So let's say I did 30 over 400 times 100, and I divided it, and I got 6%. That must be wrong enough, surely. Okay, they're not going to give me a mark short for this 30 over 4 that's buried in here, surely. That wouldn't be a mark. You've got to give like an answer. because then down here on answer line, it's got the percentage. So if I write that and say it's 6%, I think that's going to be okay for 4. I don't think I'd get 5. That'd be very generous to give it for that 30 over 4 there. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I think that's going to get me 4. I hope it's going to get me 4. Otherwise, that's a lot of marks that I've just chucked away. Right, what have we got now? So 8, Len has 8 parcels. Mean weight of the 8 parcels is 2.5 kilograms. Mean weight of 3 parcels is 2. Work out the mean weight of the other 5. 3 marks. Right, okay. So it's a combining means question. 3 marks. I can probably get 2 on this. That should be okay. So for the 8 parcels, so total weight of 8 parcels, that's going to be my 8 times 2.5. So 8 times 2.5 gets me 20. So I've got 20 kilograms. That's my weight of 8 parcels, and the mean weight of 3 of them. So total weight of the 3 parcels is 3 times 2. That gives me 6 kilograms. So therefore, total weight of 5 parcels is 20 minus 6, so it gets me 14 kilograms. So that's my total weight. I've got to do the mean. I think there's got to be an attempt. It's got to be an attempt at turning it back into a mean. I don't think 14 would be enough for 2 marks. I think we've done this bit here. I think it's going to be like a mark for doing the difference and then trying to do it as the mean. So kind of a combined thing. I mean, we'll see when we look at the mark scheme later if, we could have maybe got 2 marks for doing a bit less. But I'd have to show 14 divided by 5, and then I just get it wrong, right? So I just get this, make an error. So 14.5, let's say I thought that was 2.5. There we go. So we'll call it 2.5. There's our incorrect answer. I think that's got to be 2 out of 3. I've done a lot there that's correct. So I think there's got to be 2 out of 3. So that's another wrong answer. Nice. Question 9, 1 mark. Can't do that one. It's just these 1 marks. They put a lot of these 1 marks in, don't they? I didn't realise there were quite so many. Ooh, there's got to be some marks for this one. What's this? 4 marks. Right, we can definitely get 3 here, can't we? This should be an easy 3. So we've got simultaneous equations. Nothing's the same. Y's and x's are all different. So let's times this one by 3 and this one by 2. So we're going to make the y's the same. So 15x minus 6y times that by 3 gets me 69. And then this one times by 2 gets me 4x minus 6y equals 36. Nice. All good so far. Maybe 1 mark. I don't know. Maybe then we've got to show the attempt at the subtraction that comes after. So 15x take away 4x gets me, what, 11x. The 6y's disappear. Awesome. And 69 minus 36 gets me, it's going to work out nicely. Remember, non-calculator paper, we're expecting all these numbers to work quite well. So we get x equals 3. That's normally 2, right? So up to that point, because we've got half our answer, because then we need another mark, which will come from subbing 3 back in to try and find out what y is. So we just need to make a little mistake here. Ooh, I've got an idea. I think I know what I'm going to do. Hey, I was thinking ahead there. So 20 still equals 23. So we've got minus 2y equals 23 minus 15 gets me 8. And then I will just divide and forget the minus. There we go. That's an easy one, right? So x equals 3, y equals 4. I've got my error there at the end. I think that's a safe 3. Pretty confident with that one. We'll put our 3 and 4 in the answer space. I'm feeling good about that one. That one feels good. Definitely a 3. Got to be. Ooh, right, shapes. I can kind of see what's coming here. And a chance to get a couple of marks. So triangle A is translated by the vector 6 minus 4. Triangle B is rotated 90 degrees clockwise about 1, 2 to get triangle C. Describe fully the single transformation that maps A onto C. Right, okay, so we're going to go like via triangle B. So if we go triangle A, we're going 6 minus 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that makes that point there, which then I can draw in. So remember, you could do all 3 points if you need to, but as long as you know which point you've translated, you can then just fill in triangle B. Right. Now, often they'll give me a mark for that because that's on the diagram. It's in the correct place. Okay, so it's not in this answer space down here, but they will mark diagrams as well normally. So I think that would get me 1 mark. So there's a second mark to be had. I don't know. We'll see. So we're going to rotate, triangle B is rotated 90 degrees clockwise about the point 1, 2. So I'm going to mark 1, 2 on, that makes sense. And then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, that's that way, about that point. Now I can't do tracing paper on here, so I'm going to have to use kind of non-tracing paper methods. You guys could obviously do tracing paper in your exam. So what I would do, if I join my rotation point to that vertex, proper name, I can now rotate that line 90 degrees. So it goes 3 across and 2 down, which means it would now go 3 down and 2 across. So that point ends up there. Okay, look, there's my 90-degree rotation. So now I just take that point and rotate my triangle 90 degrees. So it would now look like that. That is triangle C. Okay. So I'm not sure that would be 2. I know I've done 2 things, but I feel like I have to have an attempt at describing this transformation, right? I can't believe I'd get 2 out of 3 without having a go at doing that. So what's the transformation that's actually happened? So we've got, oh, it's another rotation. Ah, okay, right. So it's a rotation here. Okay. So it's going that way. So it's rotated clockwise, 90 degrees. And then maybe we just get the point wrong. So I'm maybe going slightly more than I need to do here, but I would say if I write a rotation 90 degrees clockwise, and then about, and then we'll just mess up our point, right? We'll just make a mistake in our coordinate. That's an easy one. So let's just mix them up. So it should be, what, -4, 1. So let's just go 1 minus 4. There we go. That's an easy one. So I think that's got to be 2, surely. I've got 2 correct triangles on my diagram, and then I'm rotating 90 degrees clockwise, which is correct, but then I've got the wrong point that I'm rotating about. Got to be, surely 2 out of 3. Must be. Okay, I'm good. 2 out of 3. We'll go with that. Here are some graphs. Oh, no! 3, 1 markers. Ah, we can't do these. That's a big hit, that one. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's a shame. Why couldn't they do it? If they did like one of those matching ones where you draw lines, they could mark it all together and it'd be out of 3, and then I could get some right. But oh well, never mind. Right, that's some more ones. So I mean, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I don't know what grade we're going to end up with. Maybe we can get like maybe a 5 or a 6, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we're doing a histogram. Oh, 3 marks. Right. Okay, I can get some marks back. So aiming for 2. So frequency, time. I need my class width. To do this, so I've got my class width, what's 10, 20, 5, 15, 10, and I get my frequency density. So 20 divided by 10 is 2, 70 divided by 20, 3.5, 22 divided by 5. Ooh, could make a mistake here. Is that going to be too costly? Tempting. If I write 4.2, surely that would only cost me 1 mark if I do everything else right. Because it's 4 2/5, which is 4.4. So if I write 4.2, I think that should do it. That should do it. That's the obvious one. That's the one people will probably make a mistake on. So, so we're going to go to our histogram here. We're going to put our frequency density. Let's write it out. Frequency density. I don't know. There might be marks for labels, but I don't want to risk that I'm going to lose marks for labels. And then what was it? Time. Time in seconds, I think it was. Is that right? Oh, minutes. Don't think I'd lose a mark for that. We'll fix our label. We'll put our units on. Time, minutes. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit just so I can kind of see my full table at the same time. There we go, right. Okay, so I need to label my axes. They're normally going to put these in a nice way. So if I look along the bottom, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yeah, so 10s works nice and simply. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And then I need to go up to more than 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, I think they put you nice grids in. They're very generous. They could put you horrible grids in here if they wanted to. So we're going to do 0 to 10 up to 2. So obviously with a ruler, I don't know if I'd lose marks for not having a ruler. Let's assume that normally I'd have a ruler and draw some nice boxes. So 0 to 10, we've got that one. 10 to 30 up to 3.5. Yeah, that's fine. 3.5 all the way across to 30. all the way down. Ooh, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. There we go. Then we have 30 to 35, so up to 4.2. That's my error, so let's make sure that's right. So 4.2 there, 4.2, nice. And that's, oh wait, I've gone too far. Gone too far. There we go. Only up to 35. Obviously with my imaginary ruler, that's going to make lovely straight lines. There we go. 35 to 50 at 2, so we're going up to 50. There we are. Very nice. And then 50 to 60, 0.8. That's going to be there, isn't it? So 0.8 down to there. Right. I think that's got to, surely, right? That one numerical slip must only be a 1 mark. Surely. So that must be 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3, 4.2. Okay. It's definitely wrong, isn't it? 20 divided by 22 divided by 5. 4 2/5, and 2/5 is 0.4. Yeah, okay, fine. Right, so that's 2 out of 3. Nice. Right. I can get a mark here. Work out an estimate for the fraction of these 150 people who are in the shop for between 20 and 40 minutes. So 20 and 40. So 20 is there, 40 is there. So we're trying to work out how many people would be in these bars here by doing the area. But are they going to let me have the follow through? So if I do it based on my histogram, I've got 10 times 3.5, that's 35. This bar over here, I've got 35 to 40, so that's 5 times 2, so that's 10 people. Now the risk I've got here is if I did it based on my area, I will get a wrong answer because of that 4.2, right, that I wrote in this one. But they might allow me to then use my histogram error and then give me 2 marks, which means I don't get those, right? That's the rules. So, because it should be, I mean, what I should do really, if I was in an exam, I should use the 22 from the table, because it's 22. There's nothing, I don't need to work out the area. I can just say, oh, it's 22 people because it's the whole of that bar. But if I write 22, or if I write 4.2 times 5 and write 21, I think both of those might get me 2 marks. Right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go for 22. This one, I'm not sure about this one, how to do this. I'm going to pretend I'm going to do something silly here. Because I can do this from the table as well, right? So 35 to 50, I'm going 35 to 40, so that's like a third. So I can do like a third of 10. That's the other way you could do it from the table and not the histogram. But I am going to have to do an error here. Let's assume I misread my histogram and I did 10 times 2 and wrote 20. Let's go with that. I think that should be okay. So I've got between 20 and 40, I've got 35 plus 22 plus 20, all over 150. And then we're just going to add those up together. I mean, I could make an error in my adding, I suppose. Maybe that might be a better option actually. I think that might be safer, because otherwise they might penalise me here because it's not that difficult, the numbers. So I put the plus 10 in, put the 150, and now let's just mess this up. So it would be 57, 67. So let's go for 65. Let's assume I missed off the 2 here. 35 plus 20. Plus 10, we'll call it 65. I think that should be 1 mark, surely. Just mess up the adding. I've got a correct sum, I've just messed up the adding. Yeah, happy with that. I'm happy with that. Expanding, right, definitely easy to make it. 3 marks, great. Here we go. We can zoom back in and have a bit more space and see what we're doing. So I take 2 brackets, do that. So 2x plus 3, x minus 5. We're going to expand that. So we'd get 2x squared plus 3x minus 10x minus 15. Bump those 2 together in the middle. Minus 7x minus 15. So there's our 2 brackets expanded here. Now we're just going to multiply that by 3x minus 1. 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. Easiest way to do this is to go through and multiply all of the 3 things in this quadratic bracket by 3x. So just go 2x squared times 3x gets me 6x cubed. Minus 7x times 3x gets me minus 21x squared. Minus 15 times 3x is minus 45x. Right, it's the easiest way to go through in your brain logically. And now we times it all by minus 1 to get minus 2x squared plus 7x plus 15. And then we'll just make an error here. This is fine. So Minus 21 minus 2, let's call minus 23x squared. And then minus 45x plus 7x, let's make minus 52x. There we go. That's an easy one, right? We can mess that up. That should be fine. I think that's okay. That should be good for 2 marks. 2 out of 3. Cool. Right. Okay. Sector. Oh, yes. Here we go. Time to pick up some marks. So we're aiming for 3. So what do we have? OAB is a sector of a circle with center O and radius 6. Fine. We can see that on the diagram. Length of the arc is 5 pi. So 5 pi. Stick that on there. Work out in terms of pi that. Oh, we're trying to then get to the area. So we're missing the angle. Let's call that theta. So we're missing this angle here. We need to work that out first. So we would normally do theta over 360 times 2 pi r. That's our arc length. This is arc length stuff. So this is our arc length formula, if you like. So here, if I fill in what I know, I have theta over 360 times 2 pi times 6. But I know the answer is supposed to be 5 pi. Right? So we just solve this. So the pi's go. That makes things a bit easier. We get 2 times 6 is 12, and we can cancel that with the 360 to make 30. So 2 times 6 is 12, cancel that, makes 30. So we have theta over 30 equals 5. There we go. Remember, it's all going to work nicely with our calculator on our non-calculator papers. So we get 150. So now we switch to our area. So it should be theta over 360 times pi r squared. So if we fill all this in, times pi times 6 squared, where could we go wrong here? Because this is quite an easy one. This works out. Look, this 6 squared is 36, and that divides with the 360 to make 10, and then the 10 divides by the 150 to make 15. So it's, I mean, it's quite straightforward. So I don't know, what could we do? Ooh, let's go classic. Let's go classic, like year 7 error. 6 squared is 12. Let's do that. So 150 over 360 times pi times 12. So I wrote my correct version first. Remember, I want to get that 3rd mark, and I think it's going to be something there. And then I've made an error here. So then that gets me 30, and I get 5 pi. Now, that's the same as the arc length. So have I shown enough that they would be convinced to give me some of those marks, the 3 marks, when I've ended up with the same answer as the arc length? I think it's got to be okay. I think there's going to be 2 marks for the 150. I think that's 2. And then I think I'll get a 3rd mark for writing my area formula down correctly with the numbers subbed in. And then I've just made a really rubbish error working it out. I think that's okay. I think that will get me the 3 out of 4. I think I'm good. Okay, what have we got? 2 marks, only 2 for this one. So there are only n orange sweets and 1 white sweet. So n orange, 1 white sweets in a bag. Sarah takes at random a sweet from the bag and eats it. Nice. Then takes another sweet and eats that one as well. Show the probability that Sarah eats 2 orange sweets is n minus 1 over n plus 1. They're really going to town to make sure you guys know that it's not being replaced here by saying she eats it. Because sometimes you're like, oh, it takes one. Does she put it back or not? Well, she can't. She's eaten it. So pretty clear on this one. So I would go orange first. So probability orange for the first sweet would be, what is it? N orange sweets, and there would be n plus 1 in total. So n orange and the 1. So that's our probability of orange. And then the next time, so first orange, then second orange would then be n minus 1 over n. Right? So there's my probabilities. And then I would normally multiply them together. Now then, this is where we've got to be careful. It's a bit lame. I'm tempted, because if I write it out, it's a bit lame to then just not simplify anything. Maybe I will not know how to do my probabilities, and I'll write plus and then go, oh, and do like students do, and they go, oh, question mark, I don't know. See this sort of stuff all the time in exams. They go, I don't know. And then you optimistically write the answer. So you go equals n minus 1 over n plus 1 and go, they won't notice. It's fine. They won't notice. They'll definitely give me 2 marks for that. I think that's clear enough that I've definitely done the wrong thing to get 1 out of 2. I've done enough right, I think. I think I'm good. That should be okay. 1 out of 2. Fine. 1 mark. Can't do that. I can get a mark here though, 2 marks. So root 80. I think there's just going to be a mark for simplifying the root 80. Pretty standard search question. So 80 is 16 times 5. So yeah, root 16 times root 5, and then 4 root 5. So it'd be 4 root 5. I'm gonna make a. I like this error. Always makes me laugh, this error, when I see it. 4 root 5 minus root 5 equals 4. Yay! I like that one. It's one of my favorite errors. I know it's weird to have a favorite error, but I like that one because it's like, oh, just take away the root 5. And then it's just 4. Clearly, that makes sense. So yeah, remember, link in the description. You can get all of the correct answers, so we know we're definitely doing the right thing. Because don't do that. That's not a good one. Right, so what are we on? 18, all recurring decimals. All right, got to be some marks here. 3, that's a bit mean. I've got to do 2 recurring decimals, and they're only going to give me 3 marks. Oucharoo. Right, 0.15 recurring. So we're going to call that x. So let x equals that. We are going to do 2 recurring digits, so we times by 100. I'm going to write it above, makes the next bit a bit easier. So that's 15.15, right? So everything moves along, but I've still got the 15 recurring. Subtract those, I get 99x. The recurring parts disappear, equals 15. I get x equals 15 over 99. Does simplify, both divide by 3. I get 5 over 33. There we go. 1 mark? I mean, it feels like it wouldn't be 2, but then 1 mark feels like really harsh. Only 1 mark for that. 0.227 recurring, so the 2 and the 7 recurring. We'll call it y just to avoid confusion. 2 digits recurring, so again, times by 100, power of 10. So that will make, this is the ones that are a bit more awkward. Make sure I don't get this wrong. 22.7, and then it's going to go 27 again. Right, yeah. So, because it would be 0.2272727, and so on. And I'm putting it 2 places, 22.7 and then 2. Yeah, okay, fine. Happy with that. It's just these ones, sometimes you look at them, don't do them very often. Take that away, we get 99y again. Recurring parts go. 22.7 over minus 0.2 gets me 22.5. Get y equals 22.5 over 99. Don't like the decimal in the fraction. It's pretty horrible. 225 over 990, top and bottom by 10. And then both of those divide by 9. Remember, this is non-calculator, so knowing your division tricks. So 2 add 2 add 5 is 9, means it's divisible by 9. 225 divided by 9 is 25, and then 990 divided by 9 is 110. And then I can go a bit more because I can divide everything by 5 to get 5 over 22. So then 5 over 33 plus 5 over 22 equals, we've got to get this wrong. Let's go 10 over 66. Why not? Why not? That's one of the silly ones. That's definitely not favorite error, but it's a popular one. We'll just write the 66. We can see it in the answer. They've told us it's 66. We'll just add 5 and 5. It's fine. Definitely the same thing. So I think that should be a solid 2. I'm confident with that one. That should be a solid 2. Right. Similar triangles. Similar isosceles triangles. 3 marks. Feels like there's a lot here for 3 marks. Right. ABC do similar. AB is AC. So there's our isosceles triangle there. AD equals BD. So that's, I can't mark that really on here. And then I've got a ratio. So I'm going to draw these out separately. That's what I would always do for similar triangles. So that is A, B, C. So they're the same length. And then this is D, because I pivoted it, and then A is down here and B is down here. And then they're the same length. So there's my similar triangles. And I have AD equals BD. Then I have, they share, this is the key thing I think we've got to realize, they share this common side. So AB appears on both triangles. So let's call AB on the left, we'll call it X, let's say, and then AB on the right would also be X. That's the big thing. They've got this common side, right? It's in different places, but it's a common side. And then we have BC to CD is 4 to 21. So we know that if we just call BC is 4 parts, CD is 21 parts, so the whole thing is 25. So we'll just call it 25. It is a ratio, but we can just call it 25. So let's just say this side here is 25 units long, okay? And then we know that BC down here would then be 4 units long, because that's the other part. So BC down here is 4 units, and then BD, the whole thing is 25, and then the 21 we don't need kind of on its own. We just need these bits. So from that, if we're doing similar triangles, we can now set up an equation, right? So now we know, depending on which way you want to do it, there's loads of ways you could do this sort of similar shape stuff. I'm going to say that x divided by 4, so this AB left side here divided by the base side, would have to be the same as 25 over x, right? Because they're in the same positions in those triangles. So that's got to be true. So now we just try and solve that as an equation. So we'll scroll down a little bit. So we've got times by x gets us x squared, times by 4 gets us 100. Ah, there we go. Non-calculator, indeed. So x is 10. So go back here and say, right, that's 10, that's 10. We want the ratio of AB to AD. So AB is 10, AD is 25. But I've nearly forgot that we're trying to get it wrong then. I was about to write the correct answer. So 10 to 25, maybe we used the wrong number? What if if I write it the wrong way around, would that be okay? That's a bit of a risk. I think they're quite funny about that. The ratios need to be the right round. So if I write AB to AD and I write 25, which is AD, to 10, which is AB, and then simplify it, why not? 5 to 2. That's got to not get me a mark. Remember, if I get full marks, I can't count any of them. So I think that would lose me the last mark. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. I don't know. I feel like it's a risk. I don't. Oh, I want to get close, but I don't want to get it right. Would that be enough? Would that be enough? Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. But then if I write the wrong things down, would I maybe only get 1 mark? Surely there's 2 marks working out the 10. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna make a note to check that. Would our ratio the wrong way round, 5 to 2, lose final mark? I'm gonna check that. We wrote our ratio the wrong way around. So let's just instead say we did 25 to 4. I've chickened out a bit there. I think the 5 to 2 would probably be okay, but I'm going to chicken out a little bit. I think 2 marks would be fine for the 10. I think 2 out of 3 for 10, and then not my correct ratio. Maybe I'll only get 1 mark. Maybe 10's only going to be 1 mark. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, what are we on? 20. There's got to be some marks here. 3 marks. So, ooh, right, indices, fun stuff. So this left equation, 2 to the x equals 2 to the n, and then I have the cube root of 2. So that would be a third. I think that's probably going to be 1 mark, to be honest, on its own. And I've got 2 to the y equals 2 to the half, my square root to the power of 5. So I have 2 to the y equals 2 to the 5 over 2. And then this one I'm dividing to take them away, so I get n minus a third. So I know that x is equal to n minus a third and y is equal to 5 over 2. I think it's only 3 marks. I mean, some of these last questions feel a bit harsh. 3 marks. Surely, because I think that must be more than 1. But then if I don't make any attempt at this x plus y equals 8, how am I going to get 2? I've got to make some attempt at this. Let's say n minus a third as my x plus 5 over 2 equals 8. I mean, that is a horrendous fraction for a non-calculator paper. So let's just assume we make some sort of error here. right? I mean, I've got to go through. I'd have to do 6 and all sorts. So I'll just make a mistake here. And we won't worry too much about it. Let's go 15 over 16 over 5. I don't know. I'm just kind of picking numbers out of thin air that sort of maybe make sense. There's an 8 there. Maybe I times it by 2. That makes it 16. And then I put it over 5 because 3 add 2 is 5. I don't know. So remember, link in the description. You can get all these correct answers if you're not sure kind of how to finish some of these off without a calculator. Okay, so there we go. That's 20. I think that's got to be 2 out of 3. Again, that feels harsh though. I've done a lot there to only get potentially 3 marks if I got it right. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. 21. A solid cuboid has volume 300 centimeters cubed and a surface area of this. I think we can guess more similar shapes. Ah, we already had similar shapes. I think this is another similar shapes one, but it is 5 marks. Aha, here we are then. So here's a chance to rack up some marks at the end or near the end. Not sure how many questions there are on this paper. So there we go. Look, nice sketch. So a solid cuboid has a volume of 300. Oh no, it's not similar shapes. What am I talking about? Oh no, I've just got to go through and work it all out. Solid cuboid has volume 300 and surface area 370. No, it's definitely not similar shapes. I only have to draw one cuboid. I was sad then. I thought I was going to do another one. The length of the cuboid is 20. Doesn't matter which one we call that. Let's call it there, 20 centimeters. The width of the cuboid is greater than the height. So if I call that the width and that the height, and then just make a reminder that the width is greater than the height. And our aim is to work out the height. Well, it's not a lot here, is there? So we're going to have to kind of puzzle this one through. So the volume, obviously, we just times these 3 things together. That's quite easy. So 20 WH equals 300. Okay, so that's my volume equation. I can simplify that, divide by 20. But we'll do that. We'll sort that out in a minute. And then my surface area, that's the one that's going to be a bit more involved, a bit longer. So my surface area, I need 20H and then times it by 2. So that's this face here. If I call that A, and then there's one on the other side. Plus 20 times W, that would be my top here. So 20W, and there'd be 2 of those because there's the bottom as well. And then C, obviously, is this one, which is then WH. So plus WH, and then there's 2 of those, so times by 2. So that's my surface area. So I've got all 3 faces, but then 2 of each. And my surface area is 370. So there's my equations. So now I just see what I can do with that. So if I simplify this, WH divided by 20 gets me 15. So I can't work out what W or H is, but I can use that in my other equation, which at the moment says 40H plus 40W plus 2WH equals 370. Now, what I could do here, okay, I mean, I'm still going to have to do the same substitution anyway, but look here, this WH, I can just replace with 15. Makes life a bit easier. So 40H plus 40W plus 2 times 15 equals 370. And then I can simplify that a little bit, can't I? So 40W plus 30 equals 370. And then everything divides by 10. Get rid of all the zeros. And then we can move. Can maybe see where this is heading. You might have spotted it, I don't know. We can move the 37 across to make, at the moment, 4H plus 4W minus 34 equals 0. So at the moment, I still can't solve that. If I go back to this equation this time and rearrange it, so let's say I do H equals 15 over W. I can now sub that in down here. So 15 over W plus 4W minus 34 equals 0. Multiply through by W. So 4 times 15 gets me 60. And then I'm timesing by W, so the denominator goes, I get 4W squared minus 34W equals 0. Rewrite it out and divide by 2. Save myself some time. So divide by 2, 2W squared minus 17W plus 30 equals 0. And now, I remember I'm non-calculator, so I need to factorize this. So it's going to be 2W and W. What have we got? So both need to be negative. 6 and 5, is that going to work? No. 10 and 3, is that going to work? What else have we got? It's definitely not 30 and 1. 15 and 2. Ah, here we go. 15 and 2. Oh no, 15 and 2 doesn't work. What is going to work here? I'm just checking I haven't done anything silly somewhere along the way. So, oh, it's 6 and 5, isn't it? I said 6 and 5, and then I kind of glossed over it in my head. So if I do 6 and 5, I put 6 here. So times by 2 gets me minus 12, and then minus 5. There we go. So minus 5. So minus 12w, minus 5w. It gets me minus 17 plus 30, 2w squared. We're all good. So I get w equals 5 over 2, or w equals 6. Now this is where the two options come in, because I was told, or I can work out what h is in each case. So if we go back, we knew that h is equal to 15 divided by w, right? Remember we wrote it down, we had it up there, 15 over w. So if I do 15 over 5 over 2, that turns out to be, sorry, I'm looking at h here, aren't I? That works out to be 6, or we have w equals 6, h equals 15 over 6, which simplifies to 5 over 2. So they just swap places. So you see it's the same values. It's 6 and 5 over 2. So remember on our cuboid we drew up here, it doesn't matter which one we called w and which one we called h. It's all going to work out to be the same numbers. So work out the height of the cuboid. Ah, here we go. Right, because I've forgotten that we need to get something wrong somewhere along the way. The easy bit here then, we were told specifically that the width of the cuboid is greater than the height. So we need to make sure we don't accidentally get this the wrong way around. So width greater than height. So it should be w is 6 and the height is 5 over 2, 2.5, because then the width is greater. But we're going to do the height then as 6, which gives us the width. So we reject that. I want to be clear about this so that they don't kind of give me marks that I don't want. So I therefore have height equals 6 and width equals 5 over 2. I'm ignoring or getting the wrong way around. I just want to make sure this is right. The width of the cuboid is greater than the height. The width is greater than the height. Yeah, I've definitely got the height greater than the width. So we go height is 6 because that's what we wanted to work out. Work out the height of the cuboid. Yeah, okay, that's got to be 4. I've done everything. It's just then I've picked my wrong pair. So I basically have a correct solution. I've just made a poor choice at the end. Okay, so that's got to be a 4 out of 5. So I'm reasonably confident with that one. Nice. Right. What's left? I don't even know how many questions are left now. We must be somewhere near the end. So we're going to sketch a graph y equals sine x. Oh, it's 2. How on earth do I only get 1 mark? Do I draw a cos graph? How do I only get 1 mark for this? What would you get 1 mark for on a sine graph sketch? Because it says sketch, didn't say anything about label, so I can't like label the 1 and minus 1 wrong. I don't know how to get 1 mark here. I could draw a bit of it, I suppose. Maybe it's got to start the origin. What if I draw a reflection of it? Would that work? No, I'm sure. I mean, I'll do something, but I'm not sure how to only get 1 mark for the sketch of a sine graph. Because normally I'd be like, oh, I'd label 1 and minus 1, or maybe miss those off. But it doesn't mention that, so I don't know that that would happen. That I would only lose that mark. Let's go for a reflection. I'm going to draw a reflection of a sine graph. I'm going to draw it the wrong way up and see. I mean, as sine graphs go, that's not bad. That's pretty good to be fair. I don't know what else to do. I'm going to put the minus 1 and 1 on, because then there might be a mark for that. Then I get the 1 and not the other one. Because I'm not sure how else you'd get 1 mark. So there we go. Okay, well, there we go. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. So I've got hopefully 1 mark for that. Maybe 0. That might be a 0. Might have got nothing for that. Solve the equation 2 sine x equals minus 1 for 0 to 360. 2 marks. Right, I think I know what I'm doing here. So sine x equals minus 1 over 2 would be minus a half. They are then, this is my exact trig value. Remember, this is non-calculator. This is why you need to know your exact trig values. So if I do inverse sine of minus a half, it would be 210 degrees. And there would be another one, but I'm not going to do the other one because that would get me 2 marks. I only want 1 mark because I don't want to get anything right, remember? So I'm just going to go for that. Just one answer, 210. So x equals 210. Just that answer. There would be another one. So we'll see. That should be a fairly safe 1 mark, I think. Should be good. Okay. Oh, we're still going. Wow. Is this the last one? Ah, here we are. Last question. Right. 5 marks, 4 marks. I'm going to aim for 4. Last question. Last chance to pick up marks. I mean, I've got no idea so far what I could have possibly got. I haven't been keeping track. I had a lot of those 1 mark questions that have dropped out along the way I couldn't do. But we'll see, right? Let's see if we can pick up 4 more marks on here, and then we'll find out what we managed to get to. So C is a circle with center 0, 0. L is a straight line. The circle C and L intersect at points P and Q, and P has coordinates 5, 10. X coordinate of Q is -2. L has a positive gradient and crosses the y. I mean, there's a lot going on here. I'm going to have to draw something. So let's draw circle. So 0, 0. There's nothing about circle radius or anything. Okay, fine. I mean, I'll draw a circle, but I don't know what the radius is. Maybe I don't need to know. So there's my circle. Center's the origin. That's not a bad circle, to be fair. My line L intersect P and Q. So 5, 10. I can work out my. Oh, obviously I can work out my radius because I know P is a point of intersection. It's on the circle. So 5, 10. Let's go there. So that's P. 5, 10. And then the x coordinate of Q is -2, so it's somewhere. Right, okay, I can sort of see where this is going now. So it's either here. That looks a bit like it's on the same level, and it really shouldn't. Right, I don't want to have a too misleading diagram. I don't want to get stuff wrong. I don't want to get too wrong. I want to get somewhere near the right answer. So I'm just editing this slightly so that my point over here is definitely above there, the 10. Fine, right. Okay. L has a positive gradient, right? So now because I've drawn that accurately, it helps, you see. So now I know it's this point down here is the one that I'm looking for, right? This is what I'm looking for because it has to have a positive gradient. So because this point here at the top would be above 10, it would then slope downwards. So because I've been told that L has a positive gradient, it has to be this point down here. So I can go through and say, that's my line L. So I now have a picture of L. I know it's -2 something, but I don't know what. And I've got the point it crosses the y-axis is 0k. So that's this point here, 0k. I'm crossing my y-axis. Okay, so my diagram is not bad. I can kind of see what's going on. I think I get the idea. So equation of my circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And I have 5 and 10, so I can sub those in. So I have 5 squared plus 10 squared equals r squared. So 25 plus 100, I get 125 for r squared. I don't actually need r, right? Because what I want is the equation of the circle. So I now have x squared plus y squared equals 125. Great. Now the reason that's helpful is I can now find out the missing y coordinate down here. Because remember, I know the -2. So I can put -2 squared plus y squared is 125. That gets me 4. Non-calculator. Yeah, you can see how this is working. So I get y equals plus or minus 11. Now we know it's got to be the -11 because we have the positive gradient. You see, now it all starts to make sense, right? Sometimes all the stuff they give you in a question doesn't really make sense until you start doing stuff and you're like, oh, right, okay, I get it now. So it works. So this point down here is -2 minus 11. That means I can now find the equation of this line. So I've got my 2 points are 5, 10, and -2 minus 11. So I can find a gradient. So let's do our gradient. So m equals, oh, it's not going to be a nice gradient, is it? 10 minus -11, so difference in y over, oh no, it is going to be a nice gradient. There we go. 5 minus -2. So remember, stack your coordinates. So 10, 5 on top of each other, -11, -2 on top of each other. And I get 21 over 7. Ah, look, there we go. So m equals 3. Nice. Right. This is all right. Okay. Then I'm going to have my equation of the line. So I'm going to do the proper, I say proper, I'm going to do the nice version. So y minus y1, so 10 equals m, gradient is 3, Remember, there's no perpendiculars or anything. I'm just using 3 as my gradient. X minus 5. So there's my equation. So I can just mess up the end bit and kind of maybe not say. So I don't want to risk this, because if I write y equals 3x minus 5, they can't give me a mark for that, surely. That'd be they might. Well, this is the thing. They might have decided after they do the paper, they have a little review of the mark schemes and they say maybe we give it for just writing y equals 3x minus 5. But surely that wouldn't be okay in this case. It says very clearly find the value of k and it's 0k. So and I can't lose these 4 marks. I can't be giving up these 4 marks here. So I don't want to risk getting full marks. It doesn't count then. I'm going to make an error instead. I'm going to make an error. I might lose another mark. I might only get 3 out of 5, maybe if I don't get the correct rearranged version. I don't know. So let's go 3x minus 25. And then for x equals 0, y equals minus 25. Therefore, k equals minus 25. I'm going to go for that. Bit of a cop out. Okay, I think probably 3x minus 5 wouldn't have got me a mark, the final mark, but you never know. Right, there we go. I have completed my paper and I've got nothing correct. There we go. So the question now is, what grade is that going to turn into? What grade can I get on a GCSE maths paper without actually getting anything right? Let me know in the comments what you think it's going to end up as. Loads of those 1-mark questions along the way. We've lost at least then 1 mark on every one. Hopefully I've managed to get as many marks as I can without getting full marks on a question. I might have missed 1 or 2 maybe. I was doing a bit of second guessing on the mark scheme. So I'm going to go now and get the mark scheme ready, and then we're going to have a little look through our paper and go through a mark it, see what we think I should be getting. And I will also dig out the grade boundaries so we can check as we go what grades we are hitting along the way. Okay, so keep watching to the end. Let's find out what grade I'm going to get. All right, so I have been and found the mark scheme for this paper. So our summer 2024 non-calculator higher paper mark scheme. So we're going to go through and see how many marks I managed to get on my questions, whether I managed to get those near misses that we were looking for. And what I've done, I've gone and found our grade boundaries for the paper. So here is what they call the notional component grade boundaries. The reason they do that, if you're interested, is that technically you don't have grade boundaries for a paper because your mark is just all added together. So your mark is out of 240. That's the actual grade boundary. But then they kind of translate that into roughly what it would be for each paper based on kind of how people did on those ones. So this is the one we're interested in here, this higher paper. So we've got to get at least 9 marks to get a grade. Fingers crossed we're going to reach that. And obviously we can get up to 80 marks. We're not getting that because we got those wrong and missed some questions out. But how high could we get? So we need 65 for a 9 out of the 80, 55 for an 8, and so on. We can see there. So what I've done, so we can keep a track as we go of what grade I've managed to hit, I've transcribed that into this fairly primitive spreadsheet in the top corner here. So it lists the grade boundaries, and then we can keep a track of how many marks we've acquired and therefore what our current grade is. So what is it actually possible to get without getting anything right? Let's have a look. So we'll move that out of the way so we can see our mark scheme properly, and we'll bring it back when we need to. Okay, so let's go and have a look. So question 1 was this nth term one. So I was reasonably confident I was going to get 1 mark on this one. So let's have a look. Go through all the mark scheme notes. So if we have a little look here, we zoom in a bit. So obviously 4n minus 3 was the correct answer, which we didn't get because we wanted to not get our 2 marks. So yeah, there we go. So 4n plus k, where k is not minus 3. So I got 4n plus 1, so I have k that's not minus 3. So I can go on here and give myself a tick, and well, a cross because my answer's wrong, but give me a tick for the 4n and write 1 mark. So we can go and update our little sheet and say, so far we're on 1 mark, which is not yet enough to register us a grade. But we're off to a good start. Okay. Question 2. So question 2 was our fraction mixed number 1. So let's have a look. So our method mark, so for a method to subtract using a common denominator with 1 fraction correct. So 57 over 15 minus 25 over 15. We wrote that. Yes, there we go. Fantastic. So I knew we'd have to get a common denominator. It wasn't enough to just do the conversion because it was only 2 marks. And then obviously we got the incorrect answer because it should be 32 over 15. So we successfully managed our 1 mark on that. Awesome. There we go. It's going well so far. We've got the idea, but we've only picked up 2 marks. So haven't yet reached a grade. Got a long way to go. Okay, so We couldn't do 2B because it was only a 1 mark question, so we'll miss that one out. Here was our chance to get a bit of a chunk of marks. So 4 marks. Did we manage to get 3? Let's have a quick look. So for a process to find the area of one shape is our P mark, process marks they call them. And then I've got for a complete process to find the total area. So I get my 68. So yeah, there's my 2 marks. I was reasonably confident that was going to be the 2 marks. So I've got my mark over here. I've got my mark over here. Then I've got a complete process to find the area covered by 3 tins. So 3 times 2.5 times 10, 75. Yeah, I did that. Fantastic. And then A1, my final answer mark for yes. I wrote no. So therefore, that's where we lose our mark. Fantastic. Yeah, I get my 3 out of 4, just as we were hoping. So there we go. We've got another 3. There we go. That was a bit more of a chunk of marks that time. So let's update. We're now on 5. Still no grade yet. Okay, we're working on it. We're getting there slowly. Okay, so we couldn't do part B because it was a 1 mark question. Those are the ones that were really pushing it. 4A was a 1 mark, so we couldn't do that. Right, I wasn't sure about this. I think I'm going to have got it. Let's see. So for identification, remember we're looking at part B here. So for identification of 10, 12, 14, 15, 18, or something over 9 where it's between 1 and 8. Yes, fantastic. So 4 over 9 is enough for a mark because we've got something over 9 and that number is between 1 and 8. 4 is wrong, so we pick up our 1 mark for that one. Excellent stuff. There we go. Let's go and add that to our total. So we've got 6 so far. Still no grade. Hopefully we're going to get something by the end. Right, we were hoping for 2 marks in our estimation 1, question 5 out of 3. So an estimated value. So if using a rounded value, a value rounded to 1 significant figure in a calculation. So 500 divided by 10. Yes, I did that. Fantastic. So there's our rounded value in a calculation. Full process to find the total amount. So 500 divided by 10 times 0.8. I've done that. For a correct answer following through their correct rounded values. So that means I shouldn't get this mark. So here, because I have to follow through the values I use, and I have an error here. So 50 times 0.8 is not 48. So my mark, that's in the wrong place. That should be there for my sum, my full process. But 48 is not correct for the numbers I use. So we were never going to get an accurate answer because it's estimation. But here, my sum then has the wrong answer for that sum, so I don't get that mark. So that is another 2. Right, fantastic. My near misses are working so far. Oh, we've nearly got a grade. We're nearly there. We've nearly reached the grade 3, which is the lowest you can get on a higher paper. You can't get a 1 or a 2, but you can get a 3. So we've nearly registered a grade. Right, okay, almost there. It's going well. Couldn't do part B, it was a 1 mark. Ooh, right. We wanted 2 of these straight line equation marks. Let's see. So, correct method to find the gradient of the line. Yes, we got that, and we got 3 over 2. Okay, so we can give ourselves the mark for the process and the answer there. And then y equals 3 over 2x. Yes, I was right. Yeah, okay, I thought I had to write it with the x. And then minus 2 obviously is wrong because it should have been the y-intercept the other one. So I couldn't get... if I'd written it without the y equals, oh, that would have been a good one. I could have written 3 over 2x plus 3 and got that. But I do not get my full marks because obviously the minus 2 is wrong. So yes, I get my 2. Fantastic. Good guesswork on our examiners. Yes, we've got it. 2 marks. Gets me 10. I have now registered a grade 3. Boom. There we go. Nothing right so far. Question 6. We're now on a grade 3. Awesome stuff. Right, I wonder what we're going to get to. Let's see. Couldn't do part B. Only 1 mark. Ooh, this was a big one. Right, we might be able to get ourselves some marks here. So we were going for... It was a 5-mark question. We definitely don't have 7.5. Right, so process to find the number of empty jars. 3/8 times 400. Yeah, we've got that. So there's 1 mark. For starter process to deal with ratios. So 3 to 4 and 4 to 8 or 3. Yep, 3 to 4 to 8. We did that. Fantastic. Find the number of empty small jars. So the 30. Yep, we did that. There's mark number 3. And then process to find percentage. I see. I thought we'd have to write this sum. Yeah, so I was glad I did that. I wasn't sure. And then finally we got the answer wrong. It should have been 7.5. So we mark that. So there we are. Fantastic. Yes, we got 4. Playing the game. Awesome stuff. Right, let's go and add those on. Has that bumped us up a grade? So we're now on 14. Ah, yes, look, that's bumped us up a grade. Fantastic. So we're now on a grade 4. Nothing right so far. We've only hit question 7, and we are on a grade 4. Look at this. I'm starting to feel more optimistic about this. I'm not sure what we might end up with. No idea. Right, let's have a look. Mean weight of, oh yeah, the parcels one. Right, so 8 times 2.5. Yeah, we did that. So that's 20. And then a complete method. You see, I wasn't sure about the divide by 5. You had to have the divide by 5. So you have to have your 20 minus 6 and then divide by 5 for the complete method. So it wouldn't have been enough to just get the 14. Yeah, and then we divide by 5 and we got it wrong. So then we put a cross there. Fantastic. There's our 2 marks for that. Let's add that onto our total. So sorry, just so you can see that mark scheme there. So 8 times 2.5 is the bit we did. And we add on 2 more marks. So 16. Hasn't put us up another grade yet. Right. Couldn't do 9. Only 1 mark. Simultaneous equations. Let's see. So correct method to eliminate either variable or rearrangement of one equation for substitution. So we did that. We've multiplied and got our correct method to eliminate, and then we got x equals 3. Yeah. So we've got our method here, and then x equals 3 here. That tick should technically be down here, I think, once you've eliminated, because it's part of the process. And then we have, for a correct substitution of the found value, is that what it says? Yeah, found value into one of the equations. Yeah, fine. And then it gets to a second value. So we've got that. There is a note here. Let's have a look. Condone one arithmetic error. Did I make? Yes, it's only one error, isn't it? Excellent. So one error, I've got one numerical error here where I divided 8 by minus 2 and I got positive 4. So that is my one numerical error, but then obviously it's wrong because it should be minus 4. Yes, I get my 3 marks for that one. Okay, so what's that done? Add on another 3 marks. Now I've got 19, not up another grade yet. So still just 19, still a grade 4. Okay, better grade 4, but still grade 4. Right. This one, I wasn't sure about this one, what I was needed to get for my marks here. So let's have a look. So for triangle B drawn at 4, 0, 4 minus 2, 3 minus 2. Yes, we drew triangle B. That is correct. Okay. Then 2 marks for rotation 90 degrees clockwise center minus. Yeah, so for any 2 of the 3. So it's rotation 90 degrees clockwise and the center. Rotation 90 degrees clockwise, and then we got our point. Yes, so I needed 2 of these 3. Yeah, so I had to write quite a lot for that one. So I had to get 2 out of 3 things, which I have here, and then my point was wrong, which means I don't get the final. Yes, awesome. I wasn't sure about that one. So there we go. I get my 2. So I only got 1 mark for those triangles on my diagram. You see, did say that's what I thought would happen. Let's go and add our 2 marks on. So 2 marks here, 21. We're nearly at a grade 5. Nearly hit a grade 5. Let's see. Oh, we couldn't do this one because it was 1 mark parts. That was a killer, that one. That really did hit the marks hard. All right, the histogram. So what do we need to have here? Fully correct histogram with axes scaled and labeled. So I could have not labeled them. There we go. That would have been an easier one. But I do have 4 correct bars because it was only that 22 that's wrong, isn't it? So I got 4 correct bars. First, second, fourth, and fifth are right. So I have 4 correct bars. So I get 2, and I have that 1 wrong bar there. Okay. Examiners there would have like a thing to follow. They normally have like a template they can use. So yeah, 4.4 was the wrong one. I had 4.2. That was where my error hit. And then down here, for a method to find number of people in interval, so we had half times 70, so 67. I think that qualifies as a method, surely. I've got my 35 plus 22 plus 10. That's the right numbers. So e.g., half times 70 plus 22 plus a third times 30. I have an equivalent thing to that. So this line here, the e.g., I have an equivalent bit to that in the numerator of my fraction, 35 plus 22 plus 10, and then I just got it wrong. That's why it then didn't work. So that's correct, but I got the wrong answer, so I get my 1 mark. So I've got 3. I didn't add those 2 on, did I? So I need to add on both of those 3 marks. So both of those marks. So that's another 3, which now gets me to 24. Yes! 5. Boom, we've hit a grade 5. What are we on? This is question 13. We've hit a grade 5. I haven't got anything right. We're on grade 5 now. Ooh. Right, 14. What's going to happen now? Oh, expanding. Right, okay, this should be a fairly safe 2 marks. For a correct method to find any 2 linear expressions, product of any 2 linear expressions. So 2x squared minus 10x plus 3x minus 15. Yeah, we did that. That's 1. Complete method to obtain all terms, half of which are correct. So 6x cubed minus 21x squared minus 45x, 7x. Yeah, so we've got like this third line down here. That's our one. So that's all fine. We're up to there. That's correct. And then we simplified wrong. We got this minus 23. Sorry, no, minus 23 is right, isn't it? It's the minus 52. There we go. That's the one that's wrong. So the rest are all correct. We get 2 marks. We've dropped 1. So we're going to add those on. Sorry, I'll just show you the mark scheme for that. I had my grid up. Okay. So we add on the 2 marks for that. 26. Obviously, that's not another grade yet. We've got a little bit of a way to go. Sector. Some good marks here potentially. So process to find angle. So we have 5 by 8. Yeah, we did all that. Equals 150, and we found 150. There's no mark for 150, but it's 2 marks for that process, P2. So we get 2 marks for that to get to this angle here. We didn't actually have to get it right. It was the process that had to be there. We had that, so that's fine. And then process to find the area. So yeah, that's what I thought. You know, I've already put the tick there. So I've got my process there is the tick. And obviously I got it wrong because it should be 15 pi and I got 5 pi. So I get my 3 marks for that one. Awesome stuff. Let's go and add those on. So another 3, we're up to 29. Still no grade jump yet. 16. So shown for n over n plus 1, or I only need one of these. So I got both of these. So I get 1 mark for either one of those. And then, yeah, I wrote a plus as my error. So that's what's wrong. So I just get 1 mark, which I can go and add on to my total. So what are we on to now? 30. Still grade 5. Okie doke. So 17. We couldn't do part A because it was a 1 marker, but part B, I think, was a fairly safe bet. Root 80 as, oh wow, you only had to write root 16 times 5. I didn't even have to simplify it to 4 root 5. Wow. Look at that. I could have got 1 mark for just doing root 16 times 5. And then obviously I made my favorite error, 4 root 5 minus root 5 is 4. So obviously that's wrong. So I get my 1 mark for that part. So I'm going to add that onto my total. I'm on 31. I mean, I'm not a million miles away from half mark so far. I haven't got anything right. Recurring decimals. I think this was 3 marks, wasn't it? Was it 3? Yeah, this was a 3 marks. So did I get 2? So finding 2 correct recurring decimals that when subtracted would result in a terminating decimal or integer. Oh, right, they've added them together. They've done a different way. Okay, so they added the decimals. Okay, that never occurred to me. I didn't even think about doing that. I did it their second method down here, so converting both of them. So, right. So look, I get 2 marks just for the converting bit. Look here. So M1, start of a method to convert this one or this one, and then another M for doing both. So doing this one and attempting to convert, and then this one gets me my 2 marks. And then I got my wrong answer eventually because I didn't get my fractions added. So actually, I could have done a bit less to get my 2 marks in that one. But I get my 2 marks. Awesome stuff. So let's go and see. Oh, we're nearly there. Oh, look. Almost grade 6. Almost a 6. We're almost at 6. Similar shapes. What was this? 3 marks. So, this was the one I wasn't sure about what I could write and whether I was going to get it wrong or not. So similar triangles to form an equation. So something over x and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, okay. I think maybe we're doing the second method. Oh, no, sorry, there's only one method. It's this first mark here. Yeah, so I've formed one of these equations at the top here. I've got x instead of k, that sort of idea. So here I've got my equation. Process to find AB. So then getting to 10, yeah, so solving that. So getting to that bit there. And then I wrote my ratio down wrong. So I think, would there be a note about writing it the wrong way around? No, it had to be the right way around. So I could have written it the wrong way around. I could have written 5 to 2 or 25 to 4, and I would have then, yes, would have lost final mark there. So I do get my 2 marks. So add those onto my total. I think we've made it. We've made it. What are we on? 35. We've bumped up a grade. We're now on a 6. Yes, look at this. Grade 6. Nothing right. Okay, this one was this powers one that we got to near the end. So what do we need? 2 to the x equals 2 to the n minus a third. Yeah, we've got that. There's a mark. So we've turned this first P1, and then we've got 4 x plus y equals n minus a third plus 5 over 2. I did that as part of what I've got here. So like that's the mark. Well, if I wrote equals x plus y, but then I've got equals 8. So that's like an equivalent statement going on there. Okay, so the OE where they put the or equivalent means that's the same thing. And then obviously I got it wrong. I didn't get my correct fraction, so I lose that final mark. Fine, we get 2 more. 37. Okay, I mean, I'm on a 6. There's still a few big questions to go. I don't know. Oh, this was a big one. This might help. So question 21 was this cuboids one. We had to get the wrong answer at the end. So we went through. So form an equation using the volume. Yeah, we did that. That was fine. Form an equation using the surface area. Yeah, we did that. That was fine. For eliminating one variable, we did that eventually down here. Process to solve the quadratic. I did it with W. Obviously, it's either W or H, doesn't matter. So 2W minus 5, H minus 6. Yeah, that's fine. And then I got my answer the wrong way around. Remember, we said it was supposed to be the other value because we were told width was greater than height, so I got the wrong one. So that's wrong. So I get my 4. Right, we are pushing now, aren't we? We really are. 4 more marks. Still on a grade 6, but I am not far from that 7. Can we make it? Can we make it? Let's see. So 22. Sketchcraft, I wasn't sure about this one. I wasn't sure how to get 1 mark. What do I get? Oh, no, I've got nothing. Ah. I wasn't sure about the labels. It didn't say labeling. I wasn't sure if it was worth the risk. So yeah, I had to have the correct shape and then just not write the 1 and the -1. And I don't get a mark for having the 1 and the -1 with the wrong shape. Oh no, that's a mark 0. I get nothing for that. And then I do get a mark for my 1 correct solution, 210. So that's fine. I do get my 1 mark there. So I can add that on. Sorry, that was a mark scheme for that one. So 1 more mark, 42. Oh no, that might be costly now, that 1 mark. It's getting tight now. And then I had this last one here, so 23. So x squared plus y squared equals 125. Yeah, I did that. Process to find the y coordinate, and then for selecting the negative one, yeah, so process to get it, and then selecting the negative one, I did that, and then process to find the y-intercept. So did the gradient and substitutes. Yeah, okay, so that's then getting my equation over here. And then I did get the right answer because it was supposed to be -5, and I got -25. So I definitely get my 4 marks for that one, which was the last question. So let's see, 4 more marks. Yes, I made it. I got 7. Well, there you go. So GCSE paper, higher paper, non-calculator, no questions fully correct. Not one single question fully correct. I've managed to get a grade 7. So hopefully we can see that maybe the accuracy is important. We want to try and get right answers. Of course we do. Okay. But if you get questions wrong, you can still do well, right? I get students all the time. They say, oh, I got a question wrong, or I missed out a question. I've got no chance of getting a grade 6, 7, 8, whatever it might be. I haven't got a single question fully correct in that paper, and I've managed to reach a grade 7. So there you go. Take that with you into your exam and give yourself a bit of confidence. Remember, if you want the fully correct solutions, click that link in the description, stick your email in, and we can send you out a nice PDF with all the correct answers so you know what you should be doing. You might have picked some of them up along the way anyway, but we missed out all those 1 markers as well. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more of these super fun challenges from us here at MySpace Maths. Awesome stuff. I'll see you again soon.